I had the Nuggets and the 76ers matching up in the finals. But there's a very good case. This is really two teams with fighters or punchers chances. There's two other teams that I had them beating in the conference finals that can beat them easily in a playoff series. But starting off my seeding predictions, I really should have given these before, but it's okay. I had the Timberwolves finishing as the number 1 seed. So they're going to play the Lakers in round 1. That is my number 8 seed. I have the T-Wolves beating them in 7 games. My 2-7 matchup in the Western Conference is the Nuggets and the Pelicans. I got the Nuggets beating them. My 3-6 matchup is Grizzlies Warriors. I had the Warriors winning that. The Grizzlies would be a first round exit. And my 4-5 matchup, how could it not be? Clippers versus Mavericks. The third time between these two teams. The last 2 series went to 7 games and were very highly contested, with Luka going to the playoffs the first time, putting on an absolute show. Be really fun to watch that. Now, unfortunately for Luka, I think the Clippers best him in that series, and they go on to play the Warriors in the second round of the playoffs. And I think the Clippers are the perfect matchup for Golden State. You talk about versatility, depth, coaching, three-point shooting, defense. They have everything, the size, length, to really give Golden State challenges on both ends of the ball. And I think there's even more to be seen with the Clippers, given all of these stars coming back from injury and young players too, that I don't think have quite hit their ceiling yet. So I had the Clippers matching up with the Nuggets in the conference finals after the Nuggets deal with Karl-Anthony Towns and the T-Wolves in round 2. That's what leads me to my Western Conference NBA team, or finals team. For the Eastern Conference, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers finishing as the number 1 seed. Now, Darius Garland has been out the last game with an eye laceration. That's like the most scary injury, dude. And I'm very happy he's not going to have to undergo surgery. He should be back soon. But I still have them finishing as the number 1 seed, beating the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. The Nets, like the Lakers for me, are an 8 seed that squeezes in just through the play-in tournament. They're also coming off of a great win the other night against the Raptors. My 2-7 matchup is Bucks versus Raptors. It'll be a very fun matchup. My 3-6 is Philadelphia, Miami, and my 4-5 is Boston versus Atlanta. I have the Celtics winning that series and going on to play Philadelphia in the second round of the playoffs. I think this is the year where Philly can change that narrative. I'm not feeling as good about it now, 3 games into the season, but a week and a half ago, that was easily the pick that I believed in. So I had the 76ers going to the conference finals, and they're going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers after they beat the Milwaukee Bucks. I know this got very crazy, but when I have Philadelphia playing the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals, I have the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. bringing the hardware to the Mile High. A lot of hot takes in there. So if you guys have any questions, be sure to let me know, because I have the Cavaliers beating the Bucks in the second round, and the 76ers beating the Celtics, and the last couple of years would defy that logic.
I still can't roll with Cleveland being number 1. I still think it's too soon. The team is young to jump up all the way to the 1 seed and knock off of Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think they're as seasoned for that yet. I think it takes time. I'm not going to knock that pick, because I do believe maybe next year and the years to come that Cleveland may be the face of the Eastern Conference. It's more than possible. And it's crazy to say that without LeBron there. But I just think that right now is too soon. I think Boston is too good. I think Milwaukee is too good. Philadelphia, going into the season, I was high on them. You have them going to the finals. They're too good. I think there's no better team than the Brooklyn Nets if all 3 of them are on. So I don't think Cleveland is ready yet. I have them as a playoff team, but I can't see them being the 1 seed.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at BetStamp. When it comes to sports betting, you want to maximize your return. And what BetStamp is committed to is providing you with the best odds, because you want to have versatility in the sports books you can take a look at. When it comes to visuals, graphic representation, and even custom betting trackers to help you stay in the game, you're going to be involved in the right way. You're going to stay educated, know the exact market, and make the most money that you're putting in. So be sure to download the BetStamp app and use our referral code at WiseGuys, WISCGUYS. And as always, back to the show. I have a good rebuttal.
Then take away, John. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Unhealthy last year, the Cavaliers were a bona fide top 4 seed, and they were convincingly in that mix. And it wasn't until their entire lineup was in and out that they fell to the play-in tournament. Now you add in Donovan Mitchell. And last night, without Darius Garland, against a team in the Bulls that got Zach LaVine back, no Lonzo Ball, of course, but Vooch, Zach, and DeMar, they killed the Chicago Bulls by 30 points. And what I said to myself is, last year, with no Darius Garland, with no Darius Garland, and of course Donovan Mitchell being in Utah, they get blown out in that game. It's the complete opposite effect. And you're just adding in a new star to this core. And I think all these players fit very well together. And Evan Mobley is the one player that can take this team to that highest level. He's only in year two, but he's the type of talent at 21 years old to be NBA ready, to be polished for the postseason. And I think defensively, the duo of him and Jared Allen is the best in the Eastern Conference. When you have that level of rim protection and the perimeter creation, a lot of shot making and playmaking as well. Like, you got Ricky Rubio coming back from a torn ACL. So you have him, Karis LeVert, and Kevin Love all off of the bench. In the regular season, that is a lot. That goes a very long way. And the other X factor here is Isaac Okoro, who offensively kind of has been offensively challenged. But when it comes to what he does as an athlete, what he does as a defender, he's a very good third-year guard or wing.
Nothing is selling me.
This is a much better team than last year, my friend.
Yeah, that and they are a much better team, but like I said, I still don't see the youth being able to overcome the powers of the East.
What's the difference between Darius Garland and Trae Young?
I think Garland's a better player.
You think Darius Garland's better than Trae?
I think he's going to have a better ceiling. I see him going further, at least in a playoff standpoint. Yeah, I don't think Trae Young can lead his team back to an Eastern Conference Finals like he did not too long ago. I don't think that's happening. I think Cleveland is in a way better position to win. But still, I stand on my point. When I look at the top dogs in the East, I don't see Cleveland. Do you, Brandon?
Let's get into it, right? So let's talk about the East right now, since we're on the topic, right? So my rankings go as followed. I'll go 8-1. My eighth seed, I looked at it and I said, I'm putting Chicago as my eighth seed. And I think it's because Zach LaVine is just coming back from an injury. Lonzo is probably not going to play this whole season. So I think they're going to take a step back while some teams take a step forward. My seventh seed is Atlanta. The duo of Trae Young and DeJounte Murray is going to be a dynamic one from what we've seen so far early. I know it's really early, but from what we've seen so far, it looks like they actually can mesh well. Then I got the Brooklyn Nets as the sixth seed. Now I could easily see my six and was that the fifth seed? Yeah, my sixth and fifth seed flipping. I could see that because my fifth seed is Cleveland. That's where I have Cleveland ranked. I agree with Justin's points. I think John is kind of jumping the boat a little bit, which is fine. It's get excited about it. They got the new moves. He's really excited. He's really high on Evan Mobley and Garland. Not so high on Donovan Mitchell, but now that he's on a team that he likes the players around, he's, talking a little bit more positively about Donovan Mitchell than he was a couple months ago when I was talking highly of Donovan Mitchell. But that's neither here nor there. Brooklyn, I have that low because I just think we're seeing the same woes. Steve Nash is not a good head coach. I'm sorry. Great NBA player, Hall of Fame player, not a good head coach, especially with these type of personalities that he's got to manage. Just not the guy. I'm sorry. And there's no leadership on that team. There's no accountability, blah, blah, blah. What the same old song and dance, as Justin says. Then I flip-flopped while you guys were talking. I was looking at my list, and I flipped my 3 and 4 seed. I'm putting Miami as my number 3 seed, and I'm putting Philly as number 4. I think Philly, me and John talked about it a little bit yesterday. From what I've seen of Philly, same thing as last year. They're really no different. It's my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. Harden, Embiid. No off-ball movement, no real ball movement. When Harden's got the ball in his hand, nobody's really moving. They're all just standing around waiting, for a pass or whatever. it's the same old, same old. With Miami, at least Tyler Hero has looked good through his first 3 games, a little bit better in his new starting role. Bam's mid-range game was consider a little bit better than it was last year. I've been waiting for him to take the steps necessary to really take his game to the next level, and that's really building on that mid-range shot and knocking it down at a consistent rate. I don't need him shooting 3-pointers. That's not what we need him, but knocking a mid-range shot down, I like that. I still think Miami has got to kind of make a move if they don't want to be left behind. Then at number 2, my 1 and 2 I could see also flipping. I'm just putting them at number 2 right now because of the new head coach, that stuff. But they've looked really well without their head Ime Udoka as their head coach. I got the Boston Celtics as the number 2 seed. Now I could easily see him switch with my number 1 seed, which is obviously the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton coming back hopefully in a couple months or a month or so. Drew Holiday is there. I still also think Milwaukee might want to. I don't know if they're going to make a move this season, but I think how they see this season playing out, I think they're going to realize in the offseason next year that they're going to have to make a move and get Giannis a legitimate Robin to really take that stay in the race as well as I feel with Miami. So that's how I see the East playing out right now. Yeah, if you guys have any reactions to that, or we can talk about the West, or you want to keep going with the East.
Yes, you touched on the Bucks. I think
Yeah.
we've been a little bit negative on Drew Holiday because we saw, particularly in their season open, without Chris Middleton, you can't ask Drew Holiday to be the number 2 scorer. Defensively, his load is guarding the opponent's best player for 36 minutes a night. And there's no guard in the NBA that can do that and give you 20 and 7 on good shooting, night in and night out. Sometimes Drew can, and Drew's a really good number 3, probably the best one in this conference. Like, you compare him to a Marcus Smart, Tyler Hero, it's not close. I'm taking him any day of the week. But as number 2 here, there's just too much responsibility. And when looking at this Bucks roster, it's the oldest in the NBA. Brook Lopez, Serge Ibaka off the bench. It's thin in depth. And there's some good guards, Javon Carter, Pat Connaughton's working his way back from injury, and even Marshawn Beauchamp, Sandro Mamukelashvili. Younger players that can play some rotation minutes in the playoffs with this Bucks team. And this is why I don't have them as number 1 seed, Brandon. They need a healthy Chris Middleton.